Hello everyone, welcome back to Dawn and Dreams. It is your lady Ms.Z. Thank you so much for tuning into another video. This is going to be a special pick a card reading because I'm using cards that I was initiated with. So this is really important to me. It took me 5 years to get these tools. I don't even look at them as cards. I look at them as tools given to me by my ancestors, and it took me 5 long years to get here. So these are like prized possessions. I really didn't even want to show these cards. So with the permission of my ancestors, I'm able to do that. And I literally had to do divination to find out if I could do that. And yes, I can. So I'm going to be doing a special reading. And for those of you who don't know, I really don't even use like all the cards on my channel. Like, people think that I use everything on my channel, or, you know, my favorite cards, as you guys know, is my comedic deck. Just to show you that, my comedic deck, you guys know I use that. Also my handmade deck and a collective of other decks. But you kind of see the same round of cards, and not that I switch up a lot. It's just that for those people who pay for the energy, I will give them more. Okay, so if you actually book a reading with me, a lot of times you may see me use some of the same cards, but if it calls for it, I'll be willing to use other decks as well that I've learned to work with, other tools, bone casting, all that. So these are just as important to me, actually so important that I don't even want to use them on anybody else. Okay. Now, anyway, back to what I was about to say. As far as introductions, if you would like to book a reading, go to donanddreams.com. The link will be in the description box. If you would like to buy any handmade dream catchers, you can also get that on the shop. There are only a few left, including this one. And shout out to anybody that's purchased anything. I really appreciate that. The love, the feedback, everything. What else? I think that's it. And I know you guys again are waiting on the ancestral beads. Again, I'm still waiting because I'm having certain items shipped in so that I can use. I'm looking for very specific things to make these items with, to make them more powerful. So it's going to be worth the wait. But yes, that is something that I'm still waiting on before I can give it to you. Yeah, I think that's it for the announcements. Now, to get into what this reading is about, this reading is going to be the power held by your ancestry. We all have ancestral powers and linkages. We just have to pretty much find them. I know that my ancestry goes back with the Yoruba tribe and the Fulani tribe. Also, African American ancestries, which still leads back to Africa, but at the same time, you know, African Americans have their own set of energy and power, in a sense, because of the things that we've went through, and we've had to create our own spiritual, I don't even know if they call it religion or anything like that, but it is spiritual practices, and try to conform that to what we were put into. Okay, so everybody has certain linkages to certain things. Now, this is going to be the more African form of that. Okay, when I say African form, I'm using African cards. So you're going to get the African perspective, and you can change that based on your own lineage. Okay, so you may not have any, well, I feel like everybody has African ties, but you may not have any direct African ties, but you can also transform that to match your ancestry, if that makes sense. So if I say you have a spiritual warrior in your a warrior energy in your ancestry, you can just take that however it comes. But I'm going to be using these forms, okay? And for me, African spirituality really dives deep. It's not like glitz and glamour, and it's really not made for that, to me. You know, I mean, Christianity is Christianity, you know, and the things that we do now. But as far as the indigenous practices, those are raw, bare, you know, powerful, digging deep, not afraid to get dirty. So this video may not be for you if you're a little bit, you know, into that realm of not doing too much, not harming anything. It's okay to think like that, but I'm just saying that I don't know. Whatever the cards show me is just what I'm going to speak on. It's basically what I'm saying. So it may not be everything that you're comfortable with when I talk about spiritual powers and lineages and what's in your energy and your heritage. Okay, so that may mean knocking some people down. You never know, but we're going to see what comes. Hopefully not, but we're going to see what comes into this energy. I'm going to, which I can't see the time there, but I'm going to try to keep track of time for each one. I'm not going to go too deep. If you would like to have a personal reading with me, again, go to donandreams.com and we can look at specifically what ancestral power your lineage carries with your Agun, with your ancestors. Okay, so you can pick, as you can see, 1, 2, or 3. That's 1, 2, or 3. Okay. All right. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. If you need more time, please pause the video. We're going to get right into it. Okay. All right. For those of you who picked the first one, let's see what powers your ancestry possesses. Holders of wisdom and knowledge is the first thing. I honestly don't feel like they made any moves. Wow. Okay, so some came out already. Figure of the chief. Yeah, that's right on. They didn't make any moves until it was necessary, until it was calculated. A lot of chiefs going down. You want to get something that will on your altar. For some of you who want to dive deeper, it's kind of getting hard for me to talk now because I'm about to channel these ancestors. You want to get something to put on your table. I'm only hearing one more. Yep. Lots of male figures, lots of powerful male figures in your lineage. So you will experience a lot of masculine energy. Doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a male, but a lot of masculine energy. A lot of honor. A lot of doing things calculated. Formulated plans. People of wisdom. You go to the chief for the wisdom for the things that you're going to execute. The chief has to be responsible, watching over, the tribe, making the most calculated decisions. You have a lot of honorary mentions in your ancestry. So I feel like if you don't even want to take this just from indigenous way of speaking, if you think of more modern day, this could be doing things of honor. Oh, that's a little bit too many. Yeah, you got the elder coming through. But it's kind of coming into a reverse. Yeah. I'm sorry, but I'm saying that because they're like, no, this is supposed to be here. This is supposed to be on the table. You have wisdom, knowledge, loyalty, doing things of honor. So really, your ancestors are wanting you to step into that power. Channel that energy of the chief, of the elder, the one-day elder. Also the one who makes peace. The one who stands out. The one who oversees. In African terms, the giraffe oversees, the foreseer. I think that's all I need to pull, honestly. So I'm just going to continue to feed off this energy here. And then I'm going to move on to the next. There's just a lot of pride. So doing a lot of prideful things. So when I look at that, I think of, you know, maybe doing something for the homeless, standing up for the person that may be weak or down. Even if you don't like the person, you still stand up for them. You still do the honorable thing. And I know that may sound kind of like, because nobody wants to be the honorable person, especially when they've been treated bad or when they've been done wrong. But you kind of have your head on straight to where you understand those things, and your ancestors kind of had that same momentum, doing honorary things and also knowing when to take charge. You know, I feel like this chief didn't just take charge just whenever he felt like it. It was more in an energy of when it's needed. You know, valuing loyalty, valuing kingship, companionship. Being useful as well. And when I say that, I mean doing things that may have been risky but necessary. So kind of like if you ever felt like, wow, you know, we're not getting nowhere where we are. We got to do better. We have to move. We have to go across country, wherever. And you're just, and your parents or whoever is like, no, that's crazy. You sound crazy. But then you go there and then become rich, you know. Not to say that's going to just happen like that. But I feel like I said, the chief makes calculated decisions in his head. And I'm speaking from a masculine perspective. But at the same time, he knows when to take that risk too. He knows when to go get the certain things for the tribe. So I'm going to follow up with these messages. Oh, okay. Okay. You got divine timing right here. You also have new beginnings, forgiveness, not holding on to resentment. So no, these ancestors were all about moving forward. Integration, knowing when to be silent because you know change is going to come, knowing when to retreat, not make any actions. I don't know, reunion of souls gives me the energy of knowing when to return, knowing when to walk away, but also knowing when to return. Just on a spiritual aspect, not a love aspect. I also see that as connecting, finding connections to your ancestors very soon. I'm about to get off this one. I think overall for me, it's going to be the power of the chief. Power of knowing when to make moves. Power of loyalty. Wise person, wise thinker, a person of knowledge, a person that will overcome knowledge in a lot of ways. Not overcome, come into knowledge in a lot of ways. Okay, guys, so that is what I get for the first one. But again, if you want this type of reading personally for yourself, get it so we can find out. I would love to do this type of reading for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the next. Do a little Cupid shuffle on these cards. To the left, to the left. Now kick, now kick. Now walking by yourself. Okay. Alright, so this is the second one. Let's see what was the power of your ancestors. Your ancestors were very, very creative. I feel like dance and art knowing how to work crafts, knowing how to work with the things around you, knowing how to bring the rain. Okay, so we got our first card here. Okay, there's a lot of female energy here. Female takes the lead here, okay? And again, when I say female, I mainly mean feminine energy. Because in Africa, there was a lot of men who did the ceremonies, or participated in the ceremonies, but this attributes a lot of feminine energy here. Yep, it's the same thing. You got the dance headdress right here. Going through rituals. Your ancestry had a lot of care for other people in the tribe. Everybody had a place. Told you, that's a strong female presence right there. Strong female warrior right there. Responsible for home. The woman. Necessary sacrifices and ritual. That's very important, okay? I think that's it we're going to get for these ancestors, so we'll leave it at that. Wow, okay. You have some strong shamans. Strong sacrifice. That's why I said you can't be weak looking at this reading, because sacrifice can go in many forms when you have to take off certain, what is it called? Child. Certain curses and things like that. You have to be willing and you have to know what you're doing. Doesn't mean you have to go out harming things, but it does mean that you got to be willing to, rely on that elder to get that energy up off of you. Rely on your ancestors to do what they need to do behind the scenes. So I see a lot of, I won't get too deep into it, but I see a lot of ritualistic work here. I feel like some of you in your ancestral power, you will be able to communicate with spirits or see spirits, okay? And it will be in the form of when you are practicing what you're supposed to practice. So when you start doing what you're supposed to be doing, you may channel a spirit very well to assist you with your work, okay? So, take it how you will, but that is, it is in your ancestry. Being able to channel spirits through certain rituals, which we all are able to do it, but I feel like, this will be a specialty for you. Because like I said, in some cases you can actually, and that still goes on today, especially in certain voodoo traditions, you can channel the spirit in order to get certain answers, get certain medicines, things like that, okay? Because they're summoning some of the elders, the original people who started it, you know. Dance for protection. Dance for abundance. Also keeping things civil in your family. I feel like in today's terms that will be translated as in maybe having a certain outing or something to where you're kind of keeping the family civil. I don't know if that makes sense, but kind of like just having maybe, I don't know, family reunion or something like that, keeping the family together. Everybody has a place, but there is a huge protection over family within your ancestry. Family is very important. And again, there's just a huge female ancestry in this one. Like I said, it's just a lot of female energy, nurturing, caring for the children, things like that. Lots of female warriors and healers. So I'm going to let's see. Go ahead and pull your last cards, and then we're going to go into the last one here. Sexual energy. Healing energy. Speak to me. You already know. You already know. I think that's all they want to say. Transformation. So a lot of initiations went through. A lot of your ancestors went through initiations, transformations constantly, and certain rituals, to me, I feel like may even still be passed down to your family. It just may be in lighter ways. Just like I said, with family reunions, gatherings, maybe even getting into sports, all these things were for discipline and also to show you that you have a place in the world, okay? So that's still kind of, if you still feel that energy within your ancestry, it's still being passed down in just subtle ways, just not, maybe not as strong as it would have been back in the day, okay? You do have the power of healing. The power of healing, knowing what to get. Sexual energy is also there. And this is not just, being physical. It is also being active, creating, doing things like that. You can always channel that energy into other things. So you have to think spiritual, not just, down there. All right, so that is the second one. Channel on your female spirits. And your male spirits too, because they're there too. But the female spirit is very strong. Motherly energy. Okay, so let's go to the last one. Let's see, what is in your ancestry? What is one of the powers that you possess? Well, I'm actually seeing a lot of psychic energy. Could be clairvoyant. You could see visions of the future. I do see some powerful sorcerers or witches or shamans or healers. We call them different things. So it's up to you on what you want to call it. Let these ancestors come through. Okay. Wow, they don't play about that. There's a lot of protection over you. Lots of protection. Lots of protection over new children. Okay? New children are the ancestors. So there's a lot of protection over that, of lineage. You will very well may have headaches and things like that. And it honestly, weirdly enough, I feel like that may be an ancestor trying to come through. So that may sound weird, but that's just the message that I'm getting, okay? So you may have, you know, certain, I don't want to say a migraine. I don't think it probably would be that rough. It can get that rough sometimes when it comes to spirituality, but this, I don't necessarily feel like it'll be that rough. It may just be, you know, when you channel. Something may be trying to come through or trying to speak through you or something like that, okay? Just feeling that. Strong presence of justice. Your ancestors were all about fairness. Protective figures. That's all I'm going to pull for that. I don't need nothing more. Guardians of the dead. I just told you, protection of the ancestors. So if you don't have a shrine, you may want to get one. If you're not connected to your ancestors, you may want to get there, because, and this signifies that you are already there, but for some of you who that haven't started, you may want to go ahead and get that going, because that is something that your ancestors take very seriously. The continuation of protection of the child, protection of lineage, the ones that died before you, okay? Protection of that sacred knowledge. The animal form gives me the supernatural powers, because a lot of our, I told you that I got one from the crow. So when you take on animal form, when you take on, you know, the energy of the animal, a lot of times you will possess any gifts they have, like the owl. I feel like the owl can see straight through your soul, you know, but I don't possess the gifts of the owl, but you can definitely channel the gifts of whatever spirit animal you have. That's why I take that very seriously. So you have the energy to do that as well, okay? That is in your lineage. Okay, let's see here. Wow, okay. You do have some female warriors. You also have an elder in your energy. And what I mean by that, because I mean, you know, elders are elders, you know. Well, no, I can take that back, because I read that in one of my studies as well, that, you know, not all ancestors are the elders, okay? Because some can still be immature. When you take on that elder position, you're taking on responsibility and more than just being old, okay? Everybody who's old is not necessarily acting as an elder, okay? So this is definitely elder energy in your spirit. Someone who's taken all the traditions and has kept it. So you may be drawn back to ancient forms of spirituality, and this is why. And I hear it, like my voice is cracking, so it's like it's trying to get older. It's trying to get older, but I'm like, no, I'm still young. Okay, but yes, this is I'm gonna say the voice of the ancestor, but this is why you feel drawn back to that mother and child. This is why there's so much protection. You have a lot of protection figures here. They don't play. They don't like injustice either. And I'm not just talking about injustice in general. I'm talking about justice when it comes to things in your life. They like to keep the balance, keep the peace in your life. Don't like a lot of drama. She looked very serious. She'll give you the business. I feel like one's a protector, but one's an upkeeper. Someone is more a bit friendly, but they're both in the energy. There's a bit of friendliness, but there's also a bit of, I'll tear your head off energy. So you gotta be careful with them. Okay, so lastly, I'm going to pull a card. Oh, it's getting dark in here. I hate doing readings at the pitch night because sometimes you might see some in the cameras. I'd be like, I don't want to do it at night. Ancient wisdom. They are the protectors of ancient wisdom. Okay, this is why you'll get a lot of visions, a lot of psychic energy around you. This is why y'all protect y'all children, because you already know 9 times out of 10 they're going to carry some gifts. They don't play about them children, because those children, they understand that those are ancestors coming back. So they don't play about you, is what I'm saying. Inner journey. Last but not least, another integration card. So everybody's going through an integration. They know how to get through that. Ancestors always know how to get through the integrations, those time periods of staying still. Okay, so this is the reading. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, and yeah, peace out. Thank you for tuning in.